Well, March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. MS is an unpredictable disease of the central nervous system controlling everything we do. The National Multiple Sclerosis Society actually says almost 1 million people in the U.S. live with the condition. Joining us to talk about this is Dr. Amy Laitinen, Director of MS and Neuroimmunology at Marcus Neuroscience Institute. That's a part of Baptist Health. So thank you for joining us, Doctor. Let's just start out with explaining what MS is for people at home and how it really affects the body.
Thank you, Stephen. So multiple sclerosis is a chronic inflammatory condition of the central nervous system. Essentially, people can have episodes of inflammation leading to called relapses or attacks where they can have neurological symptoms, whether it's vision loss, sensory changes, weakness, bowel or bladder changes. And time periods where there's remission, maybe symptoms get better, improve or go away. And then a little time later, it might come back with a new symptom.
Got it. Okay, so when we talk about people who might be at more risk than others, what are some things we can look out for in our lifestyle, how we approach life, and if we're putting ourselves at risk for MS?
Yeah, it's a really great question, Stephen. So I would like to say that right now, how we currently understand it, multiple sclerosis risk is a combination of genetics. There are about 250 or more genes associated with risk of developing multiple sclerosis, and also a mixture of environments. That means if you've ever had infectious mononucleosis or mono, if you've ever had low vitamin D levels, or childhood obesity, or lack of sun exposure in your adolescence. It's not a perfect combination, but a little bit of genetic risk plus the environmental factors can lead to the development of multiple sclerosis.
Interesting. Okay, and say if I'm diagnosed with MS, what is the lifespan of it? It's a double question here. And then what some treatment options as well?
So in 2025, although no one wants to be diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, we actually have excellent treatments available. Research has made significant advances in the past 5 years even. So we have really good drugs that are able to prevent relapses. And what was your second question, Stephen?
And just in terms of any lifespan expectancy with the
Yes.
disease, what does that look like?
Exactly. So in this day and age, one with multiple sclerosis can expect to live just as long as their peers without multiple sclerosis. We just want to make sure they're good years, quality years.
Absolutely. And I think nowadays a lot of people are speaking and looking at technologies. We hear so much about that when it comes to diseases in treating this. Talk more about what Baptist Health is doing in the fight against MS.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the first part is arriving to an accurate diagnosis. Misdiagnosis is certainly a problem. About 20-25% of cases are misdiagnosis. So certainly we don't want someone who doesn't have MS to be on inappropriate treatment. So that's step one. Some of the things we might utilize to help get to an accurate diagnosis include advanced MRI techniques available at Baptist Marcus Neuroscience Institute that can involve spinal fluid analysis, blood biomarkers, and of course, a very thorough examination and ruling out other causes.
All right. I always love these awareness months because they're always so important to reevaluate our health and tell other people about what they should be looking for. So thank you, doctor, so much for taking time out and speaking with us. And if you're listening to this and want to learn more about multiple sclerosis and dive deeper into this interview, we're going to make sure we put up an article on our website, WPBF.com.